Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. What a weekend of Premier League action we've had, and we're here to review it all. Arsenal, be aware, be afraid, be scared. They are scary good. Are they too good? Also, is it time to drop Salah? Wayne Rooney thinks so. We'll be talking about that and Liverpool's issues. And are Chelsea in a title race? Second place suggests they are, but are they really? They play Arsenal next week, and that could change the dynamics of this Premier League completely. We'll also have a look at the bottom of the table because I think it's becoming quite predictable. But let's start off at the top. Arsenal, dominant destruction of Spurs yesterday. A different way of playing again, and Spurs had no answer for it. Does anybody have an answer for Arsenal? And I tell you what, there'll be a lot of people very scared of Arsenal at the moment. I'm talking specifically about certain ex-players, the media, certain rival fans, even some Arsenal fans who are they'll be worried. They will be worried because this predicted Arsenal collapse, the bottlers, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, that is what a lot of people have staked their reputation on this season. Arsenal won't win the league. Arsenal are Arsenal. I fortunately sit in a position of power where I said at the start of the season I think Arsenal will win it, and a lot of people are on board with that now. That doesn't matter. That's not the point. But I think there are people out there that want this Arsenal team to fail, that build their reputation on Arsenal failing. And I'm not so sure they're going to end up right this time. They just look too strong. They look way too strong. If you think about the Gyökeres's and the Havertz and the Odegaards and the Gabriels not even on the bench yesterday, then you look at their bench, then you look at the performance. And I think someone like Ben White is a prime example. Can't get anywhere near the starting team and yet was a starting player for the last few years. That just shows the quality and depth of what Arsenal have got. People like Trossard, Martinelli on the bench as well. It's not always your best players that make you a great squad. It's those types of players I've just mentioned there that does as well. And look, the way the league table looks at the moment, if Chelsea were to win on Sunday, and they could do that, they're only 3 points behind. But it's not about one game. If Chelsea beat Arsenal and they're 3 points behind them on Sunday, it doesn't mean Chelsea are going to catch Arsenal. It's what Arsenal have done on the previous 12 games. They're hardly conceding goals. They're not losing games. They've played a lot of difficult games. Stamford Bridge is a difficult game. They've been to St James's Park. They've been to Old Trafford. They've been to Anfield. They've played a lot of the difficult games already, Arsenal. So even if they did lose to Chelsea, I'd still say, well, it's only 3 points. But actually, it's a bigger gap than that, really, because of what they've done already this season. So, look, there's still a long way to go. I believe Arsenal are going to win it, but I think some people who think Arsenal are bottlers are starting to think, shit, I might have got this wrong, because they do look ridiculously strong. And what we've seen so far is that they can win in many different ways, but also they can handle major injuries. 2 years ago, even a year ago, you lose Gabriel, that's a problem. You lose Odegaard, that's a problem. They've lost Saka for a bit. They've lost Saliba, and they've built this super squad, and they look very, very good at the moment. All Arsenal got to do is keep going, and they've got to prioritise the Premier League. I mean, I was talking to Robbie this morning about the Bayern game on Wednesday. It's really, really big. Do they make a few rotations? Because basically the Champions League, they're going to qualify in the top 8 anyway, whereas Chelsea, you win that, you've almost got a hand on the trophy. I know it's ridiculous to say that, but they've almost got a hand on the trophy. They're 7 points clear of Man City. If they beat Chelsea, they go 9 points clear of them. It's such a big game for Arsenal against Chelsea on Sunday. Give me your thoughts on that. On to Liverpool very, very quickly. Let's talk about Liverpool. So Wayne Rooney is basically saying that Salah should be dropped. He's not putting the work in defensively, and if I was Slot, I'd try and make a big decision just so it has an impact on the rest of the team. Salah's not helping the team defensively, and if you're one of the players who've signed and you're on the bench and you've seen him not running, and again, he's a club legend and everything he's done for the club, but you're on the bench, then what message does that send to you? Look, I sort of get what Rooney's saying. Does Slot need to make a big call? The flip side to that coin is if Bruno Fernandes was playing badly for Man United and Amorim dropped him, a lot of people would say, well, that's the right thing to do. But football's a bit bigger than that. How big of an influence is Salah at Liverpool? If you are a manager that's in danger and you drop Salah, what does that do? I remember Ruud Gullit doing this at Newcastle with Shearer, and it backfired. So dropping Salah, and he has left Salah out before already this season, remember. I think he did it in Europe, didn't he? Galatasaray comes to mind. Look, Salah's nowhere near the player he was. I don't think there's a player you drop Salah for. I mean, Liverpool fans might say Chiesa, but ultimately it's a short-term thing and it becomes a big-term problem. The answer is Mo Salah needs to step up and deliver to the quality that he is expected. And so I don't know whether dropping him would inspire him to do that. It might make things worse. I just don't think Liverpool's problems, as I said over the weekend, are one thing. I don't think dropping Salah changes it. I think there needs to almost be a switch in that whole club, because we know what they've been through with Jota, and we know what they've been through in losing players in transfers and new players coming in and players dropping off in form. Second season syndrome is in full force. They almost need a team building day away, paintballing or something. That they need. The problems Liverpool are having, I think we can all accept, are shocking. We expect them to become good again. How do they get good again? I don't necessarily think dropping Salah changes it, is my opinion, but let me know your thoughts. On to Chelsea. Massive game, as we mentioned, against Arsenal at the weekend, but they've both got big games, which we'll be covering on watch-alongs. Tomorrow night, Chelsea play Barcelona. Wednesday night, Arsenal play Bayern Munich. Two big games for these teams in a different tournament. But a lot of people saying, are Chelsea in a title race? And I think Maresca deserves massive credit for putting them into that position. I mean, I still know Chelsea fans who've basically been very derogatory about Maresca and are almost waiting for him to fail. And he's sort of defying that logic at the moment. They are the second best team in England because that's where they are in the league, and they go about their business very efficiently. They've mastered the art of winning games when they're not necessarily, on fire. Ridiculous level of quality in that squad, but the limitation is the experience. There's not many players over 25 in that team, and I think that ultimately is why I don't put Chelsea into a title race. But we have seen stranger things than that happen before. We've seen Leicester win a Premier League title. Cole Palmer's not even in that team at the moment as well. So I don't think even the most staunch Chelsea fan sees that as a Chelsea title-winning side. When you compare it to previous title-winning sides, it just doesn't look like one, whether it's the Terry, Lampard, Drogba era or it's the Hazard era. It doesn't strike me as a team that can win the league, especially comparable to Arsenal. But it's a big week for Chelsea. They've done very well in picking up results recently. What can they do against Barcelona and what can they do against Arsenal? If they win both those games, that changes everything. The belief, the confidence, the status. So maybe this is one that we revisit in a week or so. But I think Chelsea, at some point, if they retain these players, become an experienced side. And they've got very good players. Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez. They've got some very, very good players. I feel they're a work in progress. But you can be a work in progress in the season. You can grow in season. Interesting. Very interesting. Down into the bottom half, though, let me just talk to you about this, because I think that with the relegation battle, we have seen what I would call, a far more interesting promotion effort from the newly promoted sides. But I do think we are starting to slip into familiarity. Wolves, obviously, have taken the place of Sunderland, and fair play to Sunderland, they're not even in the bottom half. And I think there's a very, very strong chance that Sunderland will stay up, and huge credit to them. I don't know why I'm yawning so much today, but I think Leeds and Burnley are falling into a trap here. And my question has always been for the newly promoted teams, it's not just about hitting 30, 35 points. It's about what established Premier League side are you going to take the place of? Sunderland have that opportunity with Wolves. Wolves are, relegation down. I think they're down already. Leeds and Burnley, I've got to look at it and go, well, who are we pulling down to take the place of? Because West Ham and Forest have sacked their managers and they look like they're on the way up. Fulham with Marco Silva, I can't see them going down. Newcastle, you're having a laugh. Everton with Moyes, not a chance. Brentford, I thought they might drop and they still could drop, but they're doing very well under Keith Andrews. Liverpool, forget about it. So Leeds and Burnley are starting to lose games on the regular, and they're behaving like teams that are going to get relegated. What they were doing at the start of the season, they're not doing now. They were picking up points. Like Leeds against Villa, that's got to be at least a point. You lose the game. Burnley, they're just getting into this rhythm of losing, and we've seen it season after season after season. And I'd be worried about Leeds and Burnley at the moment. They look like teams of the previous 2 years that have come up and have got into the rhythm of losing, the Ipswichers, the Lutons, the Sheffield United. So I think Leeds and Burnley at the moment look like they're going to go down with Wolves because they're just not picking up results. Now, we're still very early in the season, but I think Arsenal are going to win the league. I think Leeds and Burnley are going to go down with Wolves. That's my thoughts. Anyway, get your comments in below. Obviously, I'm on the United stand tonight. Man United complete the weekend with a home game against Everton. And going back to the league table there, that would put Manchester United nicely into the top 5. If we win by well enough, we could be 4th. And that race for top 5 is a very interesting one at the moment. I still think Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool will be in the top 4. I think Liverpool will come back. But 5th place, as of now, Man United have got as good a shout as anyone. I'd probably say it's us. Let me know. Get your comments in, smash a like on the video and subscribe. I'll speak to you on the next one.